Hi, happy Friday. I hope everyone has had a wonderful week and is getting ready to have an excellent weekend. Let's pull some oracle cards about love and romance and see what's in the air right now for you. Okay, the first one that we have is skywriting the fates. So it feels like there is about to be a fated encounter between you and somebody from your past re-emerging, or this can even indicate like a past life soulmate energy, somebody that is new to you in this lifetime and yet very familiar to you on a soul level. There may be a series of synchronicities that kind of are nudging you to step outside of your comfort zone, maybe even plans that you are guided to make very last minute invitations, anything that has to do with kind of like spontaneity that almost seems more than just coincidental. It's like right place, right time, you're open, you're available, and there's not going to be a lot of time to have to sit and sort of like think and prepare. It's almost going to be like somebody calls you up, hey, I've got an extra ticket to something, or somebody canceled and there's an extra seat, or I'm headed to this event tonight, are you free, would you like to go? And it's going to require a very immediate just yes from you. And in the process of that, it feels like you're going to come face to face with, again, somebody from the past that you run into. And it's the idea of like, fancy meeting you here. What are you doing here? I didn't expect to see you. So this could be somebody where there was like raw potential, where it had been sort of like a failure to launch, or like right person, wrong time previously. And then your paths cross again. And the two of you both maybe see this as like fate or destiny. You're both available. The time is right. The stars have aligned. And so it's time to pursue something. Or it's somebody entirely new that's coming into your reality. Maybe this is part of like a larger friend group, or it's somebody's plus one in like a platonic sense. This could be like friend of a friend, or even just somebody that is at a gathering, at an event that you'll encounter. It feels that there'll be a very like intense first meeting with this person, very intense eye contact, a sense of almost somebody approaching you or you approaching this person like, don't I know you from somewhere? You seem so familiar. I feel like I've met you before. And it turns out that this is, again, kind of like past life soulmate energy, but it's the chance to kind of almost pick up where you left off with somebody from a previous lifetime and kind of have this opportunity to explore love and romance in a way that might be very reflective of efforts that you've put in to close out other cycles in your life. And it's like you're ready for something new. You're ready for a new romance or a new type of person. It's like you've leveled up in some sort of way and are able to access a different kind of tier or category of soulmates than the type of people you'd encountered previously. So this can also indicate that, even if this is somebody that it's sort of like a temporary connection, or, you're just kind of getting yourself back out there, maybe after kind of a drought in romance or time that you've taken for yourself, being single, being celibate, kind of like working on yourself, this can indicate that the door is now open to experience fewer lessons in love and a greater instance of blessings as far as love and romance is concerned. We also have lost compass, getting back to integrity. Yeah, so again, this is the idea of somebody kind of emerging from the past. This can indicate like dormant soulmate connections too. Somebody that you weren't necessarily slotted to meet in this incarnation, but you've passed other tests in your life with flying colors. You've been very proactive about choosing yourself, loving yourself, setting your standards very high, and you've broken free of limiting patterns, limiting beliefs, wounds inside of yourself that you've learned to integrate or you've healed. And this has created access for you to a different kind of roster of potential partners. Or again, like somebody from the past where it had been like a failure to launch, right person, wrong time, because of the work that you've done within yourself and that person's done within themselves. It's almost like now the two of you have access to something more in your story than was available before. You both needed to kind of go your separate ways in order to heal, in order to evolve, in order for the recipe to be just right in between the two of you. Or if this is somebody, new to you, again, it's the idea of certain decisions that you've made, the consequences of certain choices and actions in the past are coming forth in the form of positive experiences of love and romance. Somebody that it's almost like, had you settled for less, had you not faced your own reflection, had you not done that healing work within, your life would have led you in a different directions. You know, their life would have led them in a different direction. You wouldn't have been at kind of the vibrational capacity, it feels like, to welcome into your reality and to participate reciprocally with this higher level of love that's possible. This is like Wheel of Fortune energy. This is, you know, like hitting the jackpot, basically, as far as at this stage in your life, in your love life, you're getting ready to have a very beautiful experience, a very tender experience, a very new kind of experience of love and romance. This is somebody that might fit into the category of usual type and expectation, but they don't come with all that baggage and wounding that like previous people you had gravitated towards in the past might have offered in exchange, you know, for the love that you were giving. So this is somebody that can carry their weight as far as love and romance is concerned. They have something to offer. They have something very beautiful to share or to give with you, that it feels like it's going to make you really glad that you sort of put yourself out there, or again, acted with spontaneity, in the sense of, you know, going somewhere that you would normally or ordinarily go, or kind of like last minute plans, or even just sort of, for some of you, this may even mean where you're shutting the door to, you know, this resolution you'd made within yourself of like, okay, I'm taking a break from dating. I'm working on myself before I attempt to go out there and kind of link my life up with another person. You know, you may be at a point where something's got to give. You could endlessly kind of go through the process of healing and always striving to perfect things. And you might really be at the precipice of learning to accept the fact and act upon the fact that you're lovable as you are. And as the work in progress that you are, you're worthy and deserving of love in this moment, or embracing kind of all of yourself, the flaws and the perfection, and just saying enough is enough. I'm done with kind of that healing journey. I've invested enough. I'm satisfied with the results. Or you know, it's something where you're making a choice to kind of make the most of your life, make the most of the opportunity, you know, to put yourself out there and trust that the work that you've been doing on yourself and behind the scenes is sufficient enough to have broken you out of previous toxic cycles, things you weren't aware of, patterns that kept resurfacing and repeating themselves. You're aware of these things. You've worked on these things. You've transcended these things. You've shed the version of yourself that would have just blindly entertained that, or would have been oblivious to that. Or would have kind of just settled into that because it was easy, it was known, it was familiar. So any work that you've done up to this point in time, it's already changed your vibration substantially. And this is the energy of kind of getting ready to meet someone that is the reflection of this healed, this up-leveled, this kind of upgraded version of yourself. We also have mindful group think. Yeah, so again, this is the energy of like a group setting, an outing with friends, or, you know, maybe you just are brave and kind of go out by yourself, you know, put yourself in new situations, new scenarios with the hopes of like meeting like-minded individuals, or just immersing yourself within kind of like the greater community that you're a part of, or this may even involve something where you're having, you know, to travel a little bit in order to be in a social setting. This can, you know, involve kind of like going out to dinner by yourself, going out to happy hour by yourself, you know, going out to a concert by yourself, a festival by yourself, you know, just whatever that kind of entails. Or, you know, you're kind of bringing someone with you, or you're joining in on others that are kind of going to do these things, getting out of the house, getting out of the comfort zone. And this puts you in that proximity to be noticed, you know, to be observed, and to be approached by somebody that actually has something to offer you in terms of very cheerful energy, you know, a very positive and uplifting experience as far as love and romance. It's almost like just what you need at this particular point in time. For some of you, this can be, you know, the experience of you're finally aligning with someone that is a good long-term partner and a match for you. For others, this is almost just like dipping your toe in the water of a different pool of individuals, you know, different types of experiences of love and romance, because you're a different person than the last time you were putting yourself out there, or even just kind of in an earlier phase of your own sort of life journey. You've healed, you become more self-aware. And so Your discernment is better than it was before. Your vibe is different than it was before. You're not going to necessarily attract the same type of toxicity that you had previously. Or if you do still attract in those types of toxic people, there's something where you're able to sense that. You're able to intuit that. You're able to honor your own intuition that says, yes, I should continue participating with this person, or it feels better to sort of take a step back and kind of close off. And so it feels like you'll be, moving with dexterity through this experience of, kind of getting out there, meeting new people, and especially somebody that approaches, either someone from the past that resurfaces, or like a past life soulmate, like a dormant soulmate that has been activated for you and is now available on this part of your journey. It's a sense of recognizing and being able to almost celebrate yourself and the work that you've done within yourself, because you're showing up in a different capacity than you had in previous relationships. It may be something that's very obvious for you, that like, hey, I'm not getting so emotionally attached so quickly. Hey, I'm, able to let somebody kind of earn my attention, earn a place in my life, prove what they have to offer, instead of just settling for crumbs, or, taking the first bit of kind of attention or affection and sort of running with that. It feels like you'll be very proud of yourself, no matter what kind of happens with this individual approaching you or someone that you'll meet. It's almost, this feels like a time where you're able to really celebrate the work that you've invested within yourself, or a choice to invest within yourself, because it'll be very obvious to you, and maybe even to others, like other, friends that you'll be with, or people that kind of learn about this romance, or are there kind of as you're interacting with somebody in real time, that's like, hey, you've really changed. You've really learned your lesson. You've really made an effort to kind of break free of the conditioning or the patterns of the way you used to show up in love and romance, and it's worked. Your efforts, your attention in that capacity, the things that you've done or that you've learned to release, this has been very effective in terms of like you're showing up as an entirely different person in a very positive way as far as love and romance or potential new partnerships are concerned. We also have overflow, overwhelm, and plenty. So there may be a lot of eyes on you. You may be getting a lot of people, that are kind of checking you out, looking at you, maybe a boost for your confidence or your ego. Or for some of you, it could almost be the sense of, again, this aspect of sort of like, it's obvious the work that you've done within yourself has raised your vibration because all eyes are on you. It may be something where you feel almost self-conscious. Why are all these people staring at me? Why are all these people flirting with me? Why am I getting all this attention? When you may have felt that you went unnoticed for a large period of time, or maybe you've kept to yourself, you've been on hermit mode, and all of a sudden you're back out there, you're back in the spotlight, you're back in the public eye. And it's a sense of, in the aftermath of some kind of experience, maybe a series of experiences in kind of like the days and weeks to follow, you're going to be able to look at yourself and kind of other people's responses to you or other people's reactions to you, and you're going to know that you've done something right as far as your decision to work on yourself, to love yourself, to heal yourself, to embrace yourself, that you've increased your value and worth. You've remembered your worth as a person. You've raised those standards in some sort of way. You've invested in yourself, and therefore, kind of what you're demanding, what you're expecting in return from another partner or another person, kind of that has increased as well, because you're offering more. You bring more to the table as a person than you had when you were operating in purely a wounded or like an unhealed era of your life. And so it feels like that will be very apparent and obvious to you, just even in complete strangers, and like the vibe that they pick up, whether they know themselves to be intuitive or not. It's something that will be sensed about your presence, your personal magnetism, your confidence. You're radiating at a very high frequency, and others are recognizing that. And it feels like it will be very noticeable and obvious to you. We also have unmarked trail, revelation. Yeah, so this is the energy of the type of romance, a type of person, a type of experience, as far as a blossoming connection or the attention you're receiving that is entirely new for you. You're in uncharted waters. This will be evidence for you that you have effectively closed out a chapter in your life that might have been filled with pain, heartbreak, disappointment, longing, yearning for that romance, that relationship, that person that just never arrived or something that wasn't sustainable. You've poured all of that yearning deeply into yourself. You've become that love of your own life, and the sense of wholeness, balance, and completion that you have within yourself, or like any cycles that you've closed out, and you're redirecting your focus, towards the abundance you have in the here and now, and towards the future you'd like to cultivate for yourself. This is calling in a very different type of experience from outside of yourself, people who have more to offer, people who are not going to be reflections of like the past, the cycles that you've worked to break free from, the chapters that you closed, the things that you've walked away from, but it's people coming in or giving you attention that have something to offer to the future version of you, that are that reflection of the efforts that you've made to change. And so what's coming in towards you is going to be different than what you've known or experienced as well. Again, this may even be people that are, they fit kind of the physical qualities and characteristics of what you're normally attracted to, but what they bring to the table, who they are as a person, their life journey and experience, the point in their own kind of evolution that they're at, their consciousness, their focus, their abundance mindset, the wounds that they've worked on, all of that is it's a level up from what you've experienced previously, which is going to be really, it feels like at this kind of point in time, it's encouragement for you anytime in the future where you may feel the need or kind of life mandates that you go in and you do some healing work. You go in and kind of love yourself a little harder, that you're required to have compassion for yourself or move through a process of kind of the death rebirth cycle. It's something where you're going to look at this experience in the here and now is like, no matter how dark, how difficult, or how kind of long that sort of a cycle is, on the other side of it, there's hope. There's light at the end of that tunnel. It's the idea of like, it can't rain forever. The sunshine comes out. There's an opportunity for a new experience, a new day, a new type of person. This will really be a point in time where you're able to recognize you freed yourself from the shackles of like previous wounds that had led to systematic disappointment in love and romance. You've reinvented yourself, and therefore you are accessible now to a different type of experience or a different type of person, romantically speaking. And we also have covenant, sacred contract. Yeah, so there's that energy of like a new type of soulmate that's available, a new roster of potential people that you will have access to, dormant soulmates that are activated now because you've done that hard work. You've made the choice to not take the easy route and just sort of settle into the wounding, but you've uplifted yourself. You sat with yourself in the darkness. You felt all of those difficult feelings. You've walked away from the things that were limiting or that were draining you. You've shed versions of yourself that would have entertained such things, and you've come forth on the other side of that. You've come out of that cocoon. You've metamorphosized. You've raised the vibration, and it's sending out a very different signal, a different beacon. This isn't to say that everybody you encounter it'll be picture perfect, but it's the sense of almost like, you know now what to avoid. You know on instinct what isn't right for you, what is just reflective of the things you've worked so hard to overcome. And with that, in addition to being able to more easily avoid things that would just be sort of a trap back into the hurt and heartbreak that you've experienced previously, it's like you're able to access people that have more abundance to give to you, people who love themselves more, that are the reflection of how much you love yourself now as well. And so this is a season, this is an era, this is the time in your life where you're able to access a higher caliber or quality of individual and to co-create a different sort of experience of abundance as far as love and romance is concerned as well. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.